is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
Last night's game was filled with many twists and turns. After Logan Forsythe's dramatic two-run home run in the bottom of the eighth gave the Rays a 3-2 lead, chaos would reign in the ninth as Major League Baseball's new slide rule came into effect when Jose Bautista reached out and grabbed Forsythe's leg, negating two-run scoring and giving Tampa Bay the walk-off replay reversal win. Today, it's the series finale, and Matt Moore goes to the hill looking to give the Rays a series split. On the heels of all the fun last night, the Rays picking up a victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. After Toronto had taken the first two games of this series, these two clubs will wrap up the season opening series here with Game 4 from Tropicana Field. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Well, the Rays trying to get out of town and hit the road with a split. They'll have to knock off the Toronto Blue Jays here this afternoon, and they're going to send Matt Moore to the mound, who has had a great spring on the heels of finishing strong last year.
I mean, what a finish. What a finish. It gave him a ton of confidence coming into spring training this year. You talked about how well he threw the ball in spring, but you go back to last year, and the final four starts of the season for Matt Moore were superb. Record of 2-0, but look at the ERA of 1.35. The number one reason why, fastball command. When Matt Moore has fastball command, that allows his secondary pitches to work in after that. He's more efficient. He pitched deeper into games and finished the 2015 campaign on a high note, looking to start this year on a high note, but it will not be easy against his Blue Jay lineup.
Fastball command, very important against this lineup. Well, last night, fun at the end for the Rays, and yes, just a tad of chaos. And to sort out all the chaos from last night, when we return, it will be Todd Callis to tell us exactly what happened.
Your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. Rays and the Jays wrapping up this 4-game series. The Rays winning their first game last night when Jose Bautista was ruled to have violated Rule 6.01, subset J, sliding into second base, interfering with Logan Forsythe, and also going past the bag. So MLB said there were 2 violations on this play. Instead of the Jays leading 4-3 in the 9th inning, it turned out to be a reversal on the review, and the Rays would win 3-2 on the double play call at the end of the game. As you can imagine, there were 2 very different reactions to this. Here is the rule. If the runner does not engage in a bona fide slide, part of that bona fide slide ruling is that you have to maintain your position on the bag. Bautista, even though he was out, did not stay on the bag, so that was one mistake. And he also made contact with a fielder for the purpose of breaking up a double play. So on 2 different areas, he was deemed to be out of line. 2 very different reactions after the game. Kevin Cash from the Rays side, and of course, John Gibbons for the Blue Jays.
I love it right now. It's great. No, you know what? The rules put in, obviously, to protect players and keep them safe. We saw what took place last year in the playoffs, in the postseason. You know what? It is what it is. I mean, we're happy we won. I can understand the frustration on the other side. We all deal with that a little bit in this game, and especially with the replay, what it's kind of brought out over the last couple of years.
That's flat out embarrassing. That cost us a chance to win a major league game. Was that the intent? Well, you know what? That's probably the results you're going to get. You know, I was talking to some guys in spring training. Say, wait till it happens where it ends a game. Major league game. Didn't end it, but you know, we ended up taking the lead. It's really an embarrassment. You know, this. You know, I mean, there's. You know, baseball's been a hard-nosed game. He gets down plenty of time. He's going into the bag. There's really no explanation for it. You know what? Wins matter in this business. You know, and for that to come out like that, you know, I don't get it.
Gibbons obviously exasperated at the end of last night's game. Quick turnaround day baseball on a Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, the off day, then heading to Baltimore for the weekend series. Rays and the Jays right around the corner. Playing stats and Brian Anderson with all the action in 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
At it this afternoon. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineups presented by your Southern Ford dealers. For Toronto, Kevin Pillar again leads it off. Pillar in center, then Donaldson and Bautista. Encarnacion again the DH with Tulowitzki and Colabello to follow. Russell Martin again catches. He'll hit 7th. The left fielder is Ezequiel Cabrera, and Darwin Barney, the second baseman, bats 9th. First pitch of this game swung on and lifted foul up the right side. Out of play it goes. Strike 1. First pitch presented by Pincher Penny. So we're underway. Matt Moore on the hill against the Blue Jays. Matt, as you know, came back from Tommy John surgery last year. Struggled when he initially returned to the Rays. Pilar shortens on the bat, drawing Longoria in a bit closer. 1-1 to count. And then with a stint at Durham and then back with the Rays, and he finished strong in this spring. In spring training, picked up where he left off. 2-1. Pilar with 4 hits for the series. The count goes to 3-1, and you touched on it. His command has been so much better, and against this lineup with these hitters, predominantly a right-handed hitting lineup, that's going to be critical.
And that last fastball, he needs to get that. That's a strike.
Shot foul, 3-1, and it's out of play. Full count.
Yeah, this lineup tough enough, you know, with a regular strike zone, but those borderline pitches, if they're not going to go Matt Moore's way, that's going to just throw that degree of difficulty up a few notches.
Yeah, lineup tough enough, and if you're on the corner, you need to get that call.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Hot shot, fouled again on the fastball in around 93.
Well, that will be key. The fastball command, that's going to be something that we harp on about Matt Moore probably every start, because that's the key, you know, to his success. In fact, right here, the Toyota keys to success. Actually, it's just a key today, and that's fastball command. When he has that, all the other facets of his arsenal fall into place.
Ground ball, and right there for its foresight. Shaded toward the middle. That's out number 1.
Well, let's take a look at that Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Out in the outfield, left to right, we have Brandon Geyer, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And across that infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Tim Beckham, Logan Forsythe, and Steve Pearce with Kurt Casale behind the plate.
Josh Donaldson comes out swinging at the fastball. That one registering at 95.
Well, and he's in attack mode right now. I mean, absolutely establishing that fastball early, and as you just touched on, the velocity has been outstanding.
Lance Diaz calling the balls and strikes. And he grants time to Donaldson, who stepped back. One. The fastball foul back.
Yeah, and the reason that we touch on the fastball more so with Matt Moore than maybe somebody else is when he has that fastball command, it lets you know that his release point is consistent release point. When he has a consistent release point, the changeup and the curveball are going to play very well.
This is Beckham at shortstop. A couple of ground balls here, 2 up and 2 down. Let's check with Todd Callis now. Todd?
Hey, Dwayne, it's a Web Wednesday. First one of the year. Yeah, so here's the deal. Fans can ask you guys questions either through Twitter at SunSportsRays, use the hashtag AskRays, or email us to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. First Web Wednesday of 2016, guys.
All righty. There you go. The reaction you hear is for Jose Bautista. He takes the pitch inside. 1-0. Bautista in the middle of what turned out to be a double play last night upon a review to end the game. There's the strike. It's 1-1. A lot of reaction to the way the game ended last night. 1-2. So more ahead of Bautista. Bautista 3 of 10 in his career against Matt, including a home run. Important to stay ahead in the count. To 2-2.
He has shown him a little bit of everything in this at bat. Fastball heavy, the first couple hitters. And then all of a sudden here with Bautista, we've seen the breaking ball. We just saw a change up there. Specific game plan for each hitter that comes to the plate.
And it cut the miss. Had him out in front. So Bautista's out on strikes, and 1-2-3 go the Rays. Rays coming in to hit. Three in the top half of the first. Rays coming in to hit. Presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Here is the lineup put together by the Rays skipper, Kevin Cash. Logan Forsythe leads it off. Then Brandon Guyer gets a start, followed by Evan Longoria. Then Steve Pearce. Desmond Jennings is the DH today. Steven Souza Jr. hitting sixth in front of Jim Beckham. Kevin Kiermaier in center field, and Kurt Casale will do the catching.
Well, welcome back to Toronto, Jay Happ. He was with the team midway through the 2012 season through 2014. Last year started off with the Mariners, and after 20 nondescript starts with them, goes to Pittsburgh, kind of reinvents himself, and finds himself as a free agent acquisition back with the Blue Jays.
First pitch to Logan Forsythe is a strike. Yeah, something happened over in Pittsburgh. He was a different pitcher with the Pirates, and it came at an opportune time. Coming off that great run race series, the pitching coach over there has helped a lot of pitchers, and evidently Happ is one of them. Ground ball. Tulowitzki whips it to first, and Forsythe is out number one.
Let's take a look at that Blue Jay defense, see how it lines up. Brought to you once again by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Ezekiel Carrera, Kevin Pillar, and Jose Bautista. And across the infield third to first, Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Darwin Barney, and Chris Colabello, with Russell Martin back behind the plate.
Brandon Guyer in against the lefty. Look out over there. Steve Pearce, who is in the hole there behind Longoria, who's on deck. Pearce, the move to get out of the way of that foul ball. He's in a cleanup today for the Rays, Pearce. And Guyer hit by a pitch. Well, he's picking up where he left off last year. We touched on it last night. And Geyer is aboard here. Brandon hit 24 times last year, hit by a pitch. And takes that one.
And you can see, watch where the stride foot right to the inside part of the batter's box. And not only does Brandon Geyer not give up ground on balls close to him, he will actually, dare I say, lean/turn into them. Very adept at that move.
He consistently takes one for the team.
Yes, he does. Imagine what that quad looks like come September, October.
Evan Longoria takes the pitch away. 1 ball, no strikes. Evan is 7 of 18 in his career against Jay Happ. Foul out of play. And now the count 1-1.
Well, Dwayne, you touched on it earlier when he went to Pittsburgh. You know, the pitching coach, Ray Searage, watched Jay Happ throw a couple of bullpens, watched him throw pitch his first outing with the Pirates, and said, you know what, there's something I got to talk to him about. And he felt that he was too rotational, and it was causing his arm to drop, inconsistent release point, easier for the hitter to track. And so they made an adjustment to try to get him more directional towards home plate, and that led to the arm coming up just a little bit, a velocity increase, you know, reliability as far as release point goes, and the stuff just got better. And the numbers obviously bear that out because it was night and day.
Yeah, you look at his wins, losses, ERA, shot to right field. Bautista's in line to make the catch. And I think one of the other numbers that's interesting to see it happen as quickly as it did, you know, his pitches per inning went down about between 1.5 to 2 pitches per inning in that short span. He went to Pittsburgh, his lifetime average was 17 plus per inning, and in Pittsburgh is 15.5. So that tells you something right there.
It's very similar to Matt Moore. The fastball command got better because the release point was consistent. And when you're pounding that fastball in the zone early, you're going to get early in the count outs. Guys are forced to swing earlier than they may like to. And if the stuff is good, the location is good, you get earlier outs, and guess what? Pitch count comes down. Same thing with Matt Moore. You know, Matt Moore, those last 4 starts that we've talked about, he was at 14.5 pitches per inning in those 4 starts, all because strike throwing with the hard stuff.
Pretty good numbers for Pierce in his matchup against Happ. Fly ball center field. Pilar waiting now and puts it away. Rays leave a base runner onto the second, no score. Today's Rays telecast can make you a winner. Enter for a chance at today's Rays Up to Win prize. 2 Dex Imaging Home Plate Club tickets and 2 batting practice passes. The winner will be shown live on air in the 8th inning. So visit RaysBaseball.com/big giveaway to enter. Rays up. Encarnacion looks at a strike. 2 ground ball outs and a strikeout in the first for Moore against Toronto. 1-1. He's back with the breaking ball this time. First one, not much happened, and the second one breaking in there for a strike.
And nice to see the adjustment made from pitch to pitch, and that's what you have to be out there, your own pitching coach.
Cut and a miss. And he follows that up with the hard stuff, strikes him out.
I tell you, he's had a different sequence to each of the first 4 hitters for the Blue Jays. A lot of fastballs early, mixed it up with Bautista, a couple of curveballs here to Encarnacion, and then was able to pop the fastball by him. And he's been working down in the zone. You talked about the 2 ground balls now to go along with 2 strikeouts. That's a great mix for Matt Moore.
Troy Tulowitzki pitches upstairs. Starts him with a breaking ball. Two balls, no strikes. Tulowitzki just a couple of lifetime at-bats against Moore. Two for 10 in the series, including a home run that made the difference here opening day. 3-1. Runner at first, our Toyota inside look. Matt Moore, when you break down last year when he came back, it was a struggle. Command was a big part of that. A different story in those last 4 starts.
Well, he cuts down on his walks, number 1, because of better command. But more so than that, you put yourself in advantageous counts. So all of a sudden, you have the advantage over the hitter being 0-1-0-2 as opposed to 2-0-2-1. And so the batting average comes down, the runs come down, everything turns out better when you can command the ball around the zone and work from ahead.
Oh, the count. Front. The change up.
His arm speed on that pitch in the early going here has been just fantastic. You wouldn't want any more. That's where you really sell that pitch, is on arm speed. Lest anybody think that the changeup is not an aggressive pitch because of the lack of velocity. It has to be an aggressive pitch if you're going to execute it properly.
Colabello hit 15 home runs last year. It's a good addition to an already powerful lineup. And he hit some big home runs for them. 7 of those 15 either gave the Blue Jays the lead or tied the game. Rays have kept him quiet so far in this series. 2-2. 2-1 curveball for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, funny how in this at bat it's been the off-speed pitches getting Matt Moore back in the count after missing with the fastball. That's a nice luxury to have, the confidence to be able to use those down in the count, 1-0 and now 2-1 to get back to even.
Off speed with him there, had him out in front. Well, you can speak to release point, how sometimes a breaking ball actually helps if you throw it properly, if you maybe straight from that release point to find it.
If you're not out in front, you're not going to get it in the zone. I mean, you really have to be precise with the release point, you know, on a breaking ball. You know, a fastball, sometimes you can spray it around, but the breaking ball, you better be right out in front when you're flipping that thing towards home plate. And if you're able to do that, sometimes can get you right back in line, and that's a pretty good pitch right there.
Close pitch, oh my.
I tell you, where Laz Diaz, and you see where he's set up right now, he is set up over the left shoulder of the catcher. The pitches the borderline pitches that he has called for Matt Moore have been close to the right-handed hitters. The one that's been down in the zone and the pitches that have been away and borderline, Matt Moore's not getting. And I'm sure the same thing would go for Jay Happ, just doesn't have a good look at that pitch.
And he strikes him out. Got him with a fastball. There you go. A 3-2 count. Pitch may have been out of the zone, and he got Colabello to chase it. Let's take a look.
Oh, it absolutely, you're right, Dwayne, out of the zone, but Colabello very aggressive, and he expands that zone for Matt Moore, much to his detriment.
Two outs with Tulowitzki at first. Russell Martin, the catcher, takes a breaking ball. 1 ball, no strikes. One. Martin has given the Blue Jays not only a solid catcher to direct the show with this pitching staff, but here's a guy who has some pop in his bat. Hit 23 home runs last year. Two and one. Martin, 3 of 7 against Moore, with a couple home runs off the Rays lefty. Ooh, all 3 and 1. Strike. Well, we've seen here in the early stages, Laz Diaz is going to make you throw a strike and then some. And the count is full.
Going to make you throw a strike, and that may not matter.
And a cut and miss changeup. Well, you talk about mixing pitches. Matt Moore has done that. No score. Rays baseball on Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Lazy Days RV, your RV authority. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. Desmond Jennings to begin the bottom of the second for the Rays. First pitch he takes for a strike here from Jay Happ. Jennings, Souza Jr. and Beckham coming up. One. Two balls and a strike. Been a good opening series for Jennings. 4 of 11, has a stolen base. Ball 3, 3-1. Jennings lifts it too deep to left center, and Cabrera in from left. So that will be out number 1 here in the Rays second. Let's check in again with Todd.
All right, Dwayne, our first Web Wednesday question of the day. A lot of Kevin Kiermaier fans in the Bay Area, and some fans were wondering about your thoughts with Kevin Kiermaier currently batting in the number 8 spot, whether you could see him provide a little spark near the top of the lineup at some point this year, guys.
Kiermaier provides spark whatever he does defensively and on the bases. And I don't think that number 8 spot is a permanent assignment by any means for him.
Yeah, I would never take the potential for him moving up to the top of the order off the table. I think what the Rays want to do is, after the first full season last year, let him come in and just continue to develop offensively. That's something that I thought he did a nice job of last year, especially against left-handed pitching, and just let him settle in. And then once he settles in, if there becomes a need up there, or he shows the ability to be able to go up there and handle, then maybe you think about making the move, and it's something that you can do. But I think right now they just want him to quietly go about his business and be like one of those, second type leadoff men down at the bottom of the order, and just let him go about his business quietly and somewhat under the radar. Tough to do that with him because he is so energetic, but they like their little mix right now.
Ball tagged to center field. That's well hit off the wall. Pilar's going to make the pickup on the carom, and it's a stand-up double for Souza Jr. Second extra base hit of the series for Souza to go with a home run. Now a 2-base hit.
One thing that Souza Jr. does is he has tremendous leverage, able to create that with his swing. And so you go down into that baseball and it just jumps off the bat. Kevin Pillar took a couple of steps and then said, I have no chance at that, and just play it off the wall. That's how quickly that ball got out there.
Now it's Tim Beckham with a man in scoring position. Pitch is a strike. One other comment on Kiermaier. Last year, obviously, his first full year in the big leagues, and his on-base percentage was under 3. But if you look at his minor league numbers, he's always had a good on-base percentage. So you would think as he matures as a hitter, you're going to see that number get better as well.
And I think we saw him maturing as a hitter as the season went on last year.
Yes, we did.
And so I think if he continues, like you said, down that path and continues that trend, maybe a matter of time.
Beckham getting his first start. He's out on strikes. Big strikeout there for Happ. taking care of Beckham on 3 pitches.
Now, you can call that a backdoor slider, a backdoor cutter. 88 miles an hour. You see, that's like more of a cutter. Same plane, just takes it from off the plate onto the corner and gets the swing and a miss there from Tim Beckham.
Now here is Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier 4 of 9. A couple of runs batted in the series. Fastball is in there for a strike. And that puts Kiermaier down in the count. Breaking stuff following the fastball. Pitch close, misses. 2-2.
Try to see the hitter. How far is he willing to go out of the zone, especially when the count's in your favor? Now at 2-2, it's up to Jay Happ to make a pitch, and for Kevin Kiermaier to protect.
Full count. And Happ has been pretty even when it comes to splits, lefty righty. In fact, left-handers have fared a little better against him at times, but not a drastic difference. There's a line drive. Barney right there to make the catch. Hit hard. Kiermaier hit it right to the second baseman. On to the third, scoreless. Leaving Souza Jr. at second base in the second against Jay Happ. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Ezekiel Carrera, the left fielder, about to step in to lead off the third. Matt Moore ready to go to work. Outside, a ball and no strikes. Darwin Barney next, and then back around to the top of the order, Kevin Pillar. Just charged by Beckham. Scoop, quick throw, not going to be in time. He had to surround that one and move to his right, and Cabrera has himself an infield hit.
Little excuse me swing gets this ball out there with not a whole lot on it, and that forces Tim Beckham to have to cover a lot of ground and then try to make the play. And you know, with Carrera from the left side already moving up the baseline, not going to get him.
Here's Barney. Carrera back in. Not been a big base stealer, a couple steals last year in his time with Toronto. Although he did go 6 of 8 in steals with Buffalo in the 30 games he played down there. The rest of the year with the Blue Jays, and just 2 out of 3.
And just 4 total attempts off Matt Moore in 63 innings a season ago.
And he split the difference there, 2 and 2.
You see why right there. That was a great shot. How he comes set. He's got the advantage of staring at the base runner as he takes his lead. And then he's able to mix up how he goes to the plate. The last one was a slide step where he just very simply picks up that front stride leg and heads towards home plate as opposed to the leg kick. He will mix them both. How quick that is.
That one just nipped him. Barney hit by a pitch. The fastball in just did get him.
Baggy jersey. This ball didn't get him very good. Maybe clipped a button. I mean, it just, boy, if you hit a guy, you want to at least hit it.
Yeah, and if you're a hitter, you know, we saw earlier when Geyer was hit by that pitch, and he's so adept at that. And you get the oversized jersey helps you at times as well. Now top of the order, 2 men on, nobody out. Pillar shows the bunt, and that's ball 1. Popped up. Pierce is there on the infield pop that makes the catch. Pierce in foul territory for just a beat or 2, and then back fair to handle that one. Infield fly.
I'll tell you, that's a big pitch and a big out in a big spot. When 8 and 9 reach with nobody out, and then you're rolling over the top of the order again, and we know how dangerous it gets right away with Pillar, now Donaldson. That's a big, big out.
Well, Donaldson grounded to the shortstop his first time, takes a ball. The American League MVP right here, Josh Donaldson. 41 home runs and 123 runs batted in. And 1. Moore with a couple of ground ball outs so far. First time through, Pillar one of them, and Donaldson the other one. He'd love to get that again out of Donaldson.
And then watch the Rays shift, go to work on trying to turn 2. Logan Forsythe on the shortstop side at second base. The shift.
Easiest way, just hit one up the middle to Forsythe. Step on the bag and throw to first and be done with it.
Yeah, these are the things. You put the shift on, but in different situations, you've got different responsibilities. And you see Logan Forsythe right here.
2-1.
So some of these double plays you see get turned. How many times have we seen Evan Longoria over on the second base, over near second base? Ground ball to the second baseman. He's got to go cover second, acting like a shortstop, making that throw to first. I mean, different responsibilities that you have to work on.
We'll take the count to 2-2. Boy, these guys don't get cheated.
No,
and you try to take advantage of that as much as you can, but it's still scary.
Yeah, that's right. You constantly have that wind blowing in your face from the swings.
An infield hit and a hit battered. 2 on, 1 away. High fly ball deep to left. Geyer's going to go to the wall, and he runs out of room. That one's out of here. Josh Donaldson uncorks a 3-run home run. Just like that, it's 3-0.
Now he made the adjustment. Watch the reaction of Matt Moore. You talk about a hitter letting you know right there. The Rays starting pitcher let you know. Had been beaten on a couple of fastballs already in this game, but not that one. He got the front stride leg down in time, and everything was in rhythm. And then there's the lift and the launch, and that shows you how dangerous this lineup is.
That's why it's so scary. Pitch is down. Blue Jays hit 232 home runs last year. A big cut and a miss. It creates a breeze with that swing by Bautista. Donaldson last year, 41 home runs. Bautista hit 40. Encarnacion hit 39. This one's headed toward the corner. It's going to be foul. And the count advances to 1-2. Hit left center field. Bautista will make the turn and hold. Kiermaier puts the ball back to the infield. So the base hit follows the home run.
Well, Jose Bautista, we know about the pop in the back, but here, that was a breaking ball that a little bit out in front on, but he kept his hands back, and that contact was solid. And even with the shift, he knocked it right through there. And really nobody could get out of their stance. That ball hit hard. This is now the second time, obviously, working through the lineup. Starting to get a little bit of a bead on what Matt Moore is trying to do.
Encarnacion takes ball one. Ball and a strike. Well, the more pitches these guys see, the more dangerous they can be. That's why, as we discussed at the outset, it's important They have great command and get ahead of these guys consistently.
Yeah, seeing a lot of pitches is one thing. Seeing a lot of pitches, being up in the count as a hitter, is something else. Matt has shown the ability, you know, here in this afternoon's game, that when he has been behind, he's been able to go to the curveball and change up a few times to be able to get back into the count. But that's asking a lot. That's tough to sustain over an entire start. So, you know, here again, you find yourself in this 2-1 count with that fastball off the plate. This makes pitching very difficult.
And he's behind Encarnacion, 3-1, missing with the curveball.
And, you know, here, anytime a pitcher's #1 typical pitch to command is the fastball. That's the easiest pitch to command. So we were talking about earlier, being behind in the count and being able to get back into a count with the curveball or the changeup. That's nice, and it's a nice weapon to have, but it's tough to sustain, as you see right there. Now 3-1.
The count is full. Yeah, you somehow have to get the jump on these hitters, and you be the guy who's working on the hitter as opposed to the hitter having the advantage, being up in the count. Three-run home run by Donaldson, accounting for the offense so far. Line drive, base hit for Encarnacion. Bautista turns but hangs on at second. Back-to-back singles from Bautista and Encarnacion following the home run by Donaldson. So right now he's faced 6 hitters in this inning, and 5 have reached. 3 singles, a hit batter, and a home run.
And he tried to come with a full count changeup there, and you see Encarnacion not really fooled. Maybe a hair early, but he kept everything back, got good extension on the swing, and rifled that ball into center field. And the Blue Jays continue to swing the bats here in the 3rd.
And now you get to face Troy Tulowitzki. He sends one deep to center field. Kiermaier back to the track to make the catch. The tag at second base. Bautista advances to 3rd. Encarnacion remains at 1st. Tulowitzki hit it a mile to center on the track for the 2nd out.
Just enough air underneath it. This ball comes off the bat hot but high. And so that allows Kevin Kiermaier out there, the big part of the field. There's going to be room for him to be able to scamper back and make the catch. It was deep enough, though, to get Bautista to 3rd. And as many pitches as we've seen Matt Moore throw in the dirt today, that could come into play here in this at-bat. Kurt Casale behind the plate, going to keep that ball in front.
Yeah, that was a point of emphasis for Casale this spring. With all the things he does well, he wanted to improve in that area. Ground ball by the mound. Beckham to throw to 1st. He had it out there at 2nd, but decided to go to 1st to get the 3rd out. So Donaldson's 3-run home run accounts for the scoring in the top of the 3rd. His 2nd home run of the year. On this day in 2006, Mark Hendrickson hurling a 3-hit complete game shutout as the Rays beat the Orioles 2-0 in Baltimore. Joe Maddon's first victory as manager of the Rays. Joey Gathright scoring a run there. And Hendrickson gave Madden the baseball, and Madden gave it back to him. Said, wait a minute, you take it. Casale with a towering popper that skied up into the ceiling here.
And hit it.
The adjustment made. I'll tell you, they had Tulowitzki and Barney out there, and it was Tulowitzki who stayed with it to make the catch.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, too, because that ball it wasn't a glancing blow. I mean, it went straight up and hit pretty hard and came right back down rather quickly, and Blue Jays were all over that.
It hit that A ring, which is in the middle there. That's a big league pop-up. Logan Forsythe takes a strike. What a view that is.
Have you ever been up there?
The answer is an emphatic no.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Not going up there.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
Chris Garcia, you know, who's really runs the booth for us, make sure everything
yes, he does.
Is under control here, has been up there
well,
numerous times.
I look forward to talking to him about that because I you know thyself. It's not for me.
Yeah, no, it's not a good place to go. Shot to center field. Pilar will go back, and just before he hits the track, makes the catch. 2 gone.
Number 5, left fielder Brandon Geyer.
Well, Brandon Geyer was on base, hit by a pitch his first time. Strike 1. And Happ quickly ahead of him. 0-2.
Well, we're starting to see him break out that little cutter. Sometimes it'll look like a slider, throws it that 86 to 88, 89 range. And that plays with that little two-seamer, as you saw right there. One sailing away from the righty, one coming back in.
Geyer's out on strikes. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays. On to the 4th. 3-0 Toronto. Rays trail the Blue Jays. Here's a chance to get a steal. Today's steal of the day features press level seats for any game versus Cleveland April 12th through the 14th for half price. Just $19 available today only. Visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS for more information. Rays up. Russell Martin. 1 ball, no strikes. Martin, Carrera, and then Barney. That's a strike. One and two. And a cut and a miss. Martin out on strikes for the second straight time.
Tough 2 pitches for Russell Martin to handle. Slow down and in with the breaking ball, hard up and away for the put-away pitch. You can see he just cannot get the bat up to that spot.
He got him with a changeup first time around and that fastball that time.
Well, he's going to have to lock it in right here and throw up zeros. Not going to be easy. Once again, the Rays down by 3, but continue to pitch well, give your offense a chance to chip away like what happened last night. Maybe you can close this one out with a victory.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. Carrera started the 3-run third with an infield hit. Fouls this one. A little quick research on that ball that Casale hit off the A-ring here. 4th time that the A-ring has been hit. It's 194 feet up there. The tallest point to the ceiling in center field is 225 feet. It's about a 22-story building up there. And the A-ring 194 feet. Tap. It's handled by Forsythe, and look, the hustling Carrera made it close. 2 gone.
Well, he served notice in his previous at-bat, getting that infield hit in front of Tim Beckham. And so rolling over right there, Logan Forsythe knows you've got to get it and throw it right away. That's what speed does coming out of the batter's box when you use it. Adds a little bit of pressure to the defense. We see it all the time with Kevin Kiermaier.
Already fouling this one out. We mentioned Chris Garcia in our booth. Rick Odioso, our statistician, a very inquisitive young man. And that ball that hit the A-ring, I had him turn to me and he said, who is the guy who caught the ball that was dropped from the Washington Monument? 2 strikes, all dropped from the Washington Monument, and he quickly went to work and ascertained that in 1908 that was indeed Gabby Street. It's 555 feet. Longoria up with this one. Barney is out of there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Evans going to lead off the bottom of the 4th with the Rays down 3-0. Lead the Rays. Rays coming in to hit. Bottom of the 4th inning. Follow Rays Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. Live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Well, here's Evan Longoria trying to get something started. Getting his second look of the day at Jay Happ, and he takes a strike. Curveball in there from Happ. There's a base hit to center. One big hop to Pilar. So let's see if that's a start for the Rays. Longoria is aboard. Let's check in quickly here with Rich Hollenberg. Rich, what's up?
Thanks, Dwayne. I know BA talked about it earlier when Steve Pearce had his first at bat and also in the Rays Live pregame show. He loves hitting here at the Trop. 7 career home runs in this building, 4 of them last year. The 7 over the last 2 years is the most of any visiting player. Now he's in a Rays home uniform. I talked to him earlier before the game. He said he just happens to see the ball really well inside this building, guys.
All right, well, let's see how well he can see it this time up against Happ. The pitch is down, a ball to no strikes. And that point was not lost on the Rays. When he was with Baltimore, he was a very tough out. So the Rays are happy to have him wearing the Tampa Bay Rays uniform.
Well, he played the last 2 seasons in Baltimore, 194 games, hit 36 home runs. And when you divvy that up, you know, a lot of people like to look at the per 162 game average. That averages out to 30 home runs per 162 games. Yep. You take that ratio. You start to think about the addition of him from the right side, Dickerson, Morrison from the left side to go, you know, with already what is here, Brad Miller from the left side. Just to balance some things out, it gives Kevin Cash options.
You know, and his ratio of home runs here, even greater than that, it'd be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 or 60 home runs during a full season of 162 games. Line drive, there's a base hit in the left. Longoria stops at second. The Rays put the first 2 men on. Just like that, they'll get the potential tying run to the plate here in the 4th inning.
Now this lineup can figure some things out too. And Happ coming here with the fastball down and away, not in a terrible spot, but Steve Pearce a better job of covering the plate with authority and able to line that ball out over the head of Tulowitzki. Raise the first 2 aboard, and they threaten.
Desmond Jennings swings through it, strike 1. You'll recall it was this matchup back in 2013 here when Jennings hit a line drive that struck this left-hander Jay Happ in the head. He goes foul with this one. Out of play, and the count is 0-2. Kind of behind the left ear. And he survived that. But also, when he went down, that right knee buckled, and that actually turned out to keep him out of action longer than being struck in the head by that line drive. Low. Desmond, recall, was quick to reach out to Happ. You know how difficult those situations are with that to Happ, and what happened to Alex Cobb. Scary moments. Covered up by Martin. 2-2. Nobody out here with 2 men on. Rays got a double out of Steven Souza Jr. back in the 2nd inning with 1 out. Left him on. It's been the only scoring opportunity until now. Jennings with a 2-2 count, and Souza Jr.'s on deck. Cut and a miss. He went up with a fastball and gets a strikeout. First out in the Rays' fourth.
Put a little bit of extra velocity on that particular fastball. 94, trying to come in and up. This one ends up out over the plate, but it's up. And because of that extra mile an hour or two, Desmond Jennings can't get there.
Now the Rays' right fielder. Takes ball one. Souza Jr. would not offer at the off-speed pitch. Low rolling away, but no attempt to advance by the Rays. 2-0.
Boy, that almost looked like a cross-up. Russell Martin awkwardly going down to try to corral that pitch. Fortunate there wasn't a move up.
Ooh, big cut. Souza ahead in the count, let it loose there.
Well, 2-0, you're expecting fastball and you're going to sell out for it. That was that little cut fastball. Almost, it's a borderline cutter slider. Almost like a hybrid type pitch there from Jay Happ, and able to get a swing and a miss out of it. We've seen more of that as the game has gone on.
He shoots the corner and misses wide with a fastball. Look at the stack just out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen already during the course of this game that if you're going to go out there on that outer edge and down, you're not going to get the call. You better hope for a swing.
Liner into left. That's going to fall for a base hit. Bases are going to be loaded. Ball hit hard. So Longoria stops at third. 3 singles in the inning.
Well, an advantageous account here for Steven Souza Jr. He swung and missed at this pitch. 2-0. He gets it 3-1. Does not miss that one. He tattoos it out into left, and it had enough topspin to drop in front of Carrera. And now the Rays with the bases juiced, just 1 out.
Well, Tim Beckham will be the hitter. Well, Beckham last year did a lot of damage against the Blue Jays. He had 10 runs batted in against this team. Struck out his first time today. Strike around the knees, says Laz Diaz. How about those numbers against Toronto last year? 13 games, 10 runs batted in. 1-1. Hit into left. Longoria scores. Bases will remain loaded, and the Rays are on the board. Tim Beckham comes through again against the Toronto Blue Jays, as he did so often a year ago.
Now Tim Beckham is leaning out all over the plate, and this breaking ball Look at him just go down and swat this thing into left field. The one thing that J-Happ has not done at any point in this game is really move the feet of a Rays hitter. And you can see how comfortable they are getting. Everything has been away. That right there, that breaking ball, when you see a hitter leaning out over the plate on a breaking ball like that and just smoking it into left field, you know as a group this lineup is comfortable at the plate.
Well, the second time through here, the Rays have managed to put 4 hits together in the 4th inning. With 1 out, they have a run home to make it 3-1. 1 out, Kevin Kiermaier steps in. Strike 1. Strike 2 call. Kiermaier not happy.
Right at the top of the strike zone, and we've seen those pitches really go either way. Tough when it goes against you to get the count to 0-2.
A swing and a miss. Kiermaier's out on strikes. 2 away. Well, you get down 0-2, tough place to be.
Just able to power that fastball up in the zone, similar to the first pitch of the at-bat, and able to pop it by Kiermaier for the 2nd out. Bases remain loaded, though, and Casali will get a shot.
It's a ball. Kurt popped out to Tulowitzki. Hitting the A-ring with a pop-up in the 3rd inning. One and one. Down at 3rd base, Steve Pearce. Steven Souza Jr. at 2nd. Tim Beckham aboard at 1st, driving in the run with his hit. Pop to the right side. Barney retreats from 2nd to make the catch. So the Rays get a run on the RBI single by Tim Beckham. They leave him loaded. We're through 4. It's 3-1 Toronto. Today's Wednesday Showdown is brought to you by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. Two-run ball game here, the wrap-up game of the series between the Rays and the Blue Jays as we sail into the fifth. Top of the order, Kevin Millar will lead it off. Millar, Donaldson, and then Bautista.
That was really well played, partner.
Want to know the count to Millar?
Really well played. I even like the smirk after you said it.
Just taking us.
You just high-fived yourself. You high-fived yourself. There's nothing wrong with that either. As long as it's not a.
Is it really pleasant though? Wasn't that a great shot?
Oh. These are the days it's tough to come indoors.
Yep.
Not often, especially when you hit summer.
Yep.
You'd love to be in here at 73 degrees, controlled atmosphere, but there's certain days that.
Gorgeous.
Yes. Yes, it is.
(3-1) the count to Pilar leading off the fifth. Has grounded out, popped out. You know, and he'll pick his counts too and let it loose. This guy, he's got some pop in that bat at the top of their order.
Especially to the pull side here. He's a gap-to-gap line drive type hitter.
Into center, Kiermaier's there and makes the catch, coming straight in. And a nice job. That's not always easy for a center fielder either to get a quick read on something like that.
Well, the big swing. You know, the big swing, and you see the trajectory, and your brain says, okay, he's got some pop. I see a big swing, the ball comes off at that angle, and there's an immediate hesitation. And then you realize, oh, wasn't off the barrel, more off the label. Now I got to hustle in.
Josh Donaldson is the difference in this game, as he was so often last year for the Blue Jays. He belted a 3-run home run in the third. It's 3-1 right now in the fifth. A 2-0 count.
You know, this will probably be the last time that Matt Moore sees this part of the lineup. So important for him to finish strong here. He goes up to 82, 83 pitches now.
2-1.
It's just right now.
And it's their third look. So another 0 or 2 would be outstanding. Keep this game right here at 3-1.
Let's go Rays!
3-1 the count on Donaldson.
You sound like a seal, right? Okay, just check. Frozen tundra.
It'll be the second walk given up by Matt Moore. Comes with 1 out in the fifth inning ahead of Jose Bautista.
This is where it gets tougher.
Yeah, Bautista struck out in the first, singled in the third. Here's a strike. First pitch fastball. It's 1-1.
Right.
Blocked by the Rays catcher, Kurt Casale. Off speed pitch in the dirt, and it's now 2-1. Takes the count even, 2-2.
Those are one of those pitches you're sitting at the edge of your seat. You know, he's had a tendency here to be falling behind, just coming off a walk to Josh Donaldson, 2-1 to Bautista, but able to come back again with a changeup to get back into this count. Now you've got to make a pitch. You know you're coming down towards the end of your outing. Empty the tank.
Fouled straight back. Some more right there at 90 pitches. Foul ball again.
The question, do you stay with it? Do you go to the off speed? I like the idea of that well-placed changeup, outer half below the knees. Maybe you get the swing and a miss for the strikeout. Maybe he rolls one over and you got a chance to turn two.
Lines it foul. Changed up on him. Got him out in front. Fouled it out of play. Strike three called on the inside edge. And Bautista with a quick chat before he leaves the plate area with Laz Diaz.
Well, that's the side of the plate. If it's been borderline or just off, Laz Diaz more apt to give it. This fastball looks like it a little bit off the plate, but that's the side of the plate that Laz Diaz is sitting on, and he's looking right over top of it saying that's right there. And locks up Bautista.
Edwin Encarnacion, there's a strike. Encarnacion singled in the third. Line drive into left. And advances Donaldson. So Encarnacion has his second hit.
Shortstop, number 2, Troy Tulowitzki.
2 on, 2 out in the fifth. Ryan Webb is up in the Rays bullpen. He just started to get loose down there. And Tulowitzki. One.
Well, the good
close.
Well, yeah, I mean, similar to what Bautista was called out on. Well, there have been times today that we've seen one time it's a strike, next time it's a ball. Sometimes it's been a coin flip. Just got to be ready.
It's 2 balls and no strikes. Tulowitzki hit the ball to the track in center field in the third inning. Kiermaier got back there to catch it. Nothing. See where those pitches are in. That last one just off the plate. Chris Colabello is on deck. Two outs, 2 on. And on the corner, 3-1. Popped up. Pierce will chase it to the stands, but it's out of play. The count's going to be full, which will start the runners here at first and second with 2 outs.
Well, and this has been a macho matchup. Just one heater after the other to Troy Tulowitzki. Biggest one coming right here. Like you said, the runners in motion. Trying to hold this Blue Jay lead at 2.
And a ground ball. Beckham with the throw to first in time, retiring the side. 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 3-1 Toronto.
With the Rays trailing Toronto 3-1, Jose Bautista involved in the game-ending play yesterday with that call of second base. It was eventually reversed. And guys, some fans were asking today on our Web Wednesday whether or not that's an interference call that would have been made in the past. Checking with umpire supervisor Charlie Relaford here at Tropicana Field, he said yes, in fact, it could have been called interference in seasons past. However, it was a call that needed to be made on the field and would not have been reviewable. So this year with the new slide rule, it was reviewable. Not only did they get the interference call, but guys, the other area of the slide that was not in cahoots with the new rule 6.01J is that when a slide is attempted at second base and there is contact, regardless of whether he reached out or not, he has to remain on the base after the completion of the slide or attempt to remain on the base. And that's an area where Jose Bautista didn't really try and stay on the bag. And that's something the players are going to have to get used to, because that has a whole new area of sliding that they weren't used to in the past. Because once you're out, you're out. But now you have to stay on the base. So Bautista was wrong in 2 areas, as it turns out, guys.
Yeah, and there's a fly ball to right field to Bautista off the bat of Forsythe for the first outer in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the fact that he did not attempt to stay on the bag is the part of that rule that would allow that activity right there to be defined as an improper slide. And so you get a little technical there. And John Gibbons just couldn't find words to express himself, really. Geyer is on again, second time, this time with a base hit. You know, the other thing about that, I mean, technically it could have been called before this new rule, but you wonder if it would have ever been seen by an umpire with the naked eye. You know, interference constitutes when a runner cannot interfere with a defensive player fielding a ball, catching a ball, or throwing a ball. And so you could interpret Bautista doing what he did with his hands as interfering. But the question is, without replay, that never becomes an issue. Tulowitzki, Barney 1, first base 2. Longoria grounds into a double play. 6-4-3, and that ends the 5th inning. So we're going to head into the 6th. It's still a 2-run ball game. Another look at this double play. We move into the 6th inning. Ryan Webb's going to take over on the mound just for fun. Just for fun. Let's take a look at Geyer going in to second base on that double play.
Let's say that Evan Longoria is called safe at first. You could get Brandon Geyer here as the slide. The legs go up, and he went by the bag. And let's look at overhead. Did he slide directly into the bag? Didn't stay on the bag. I mean, this is what I was so glad that I got out of last inning of not talking about this rule. But this is why. I mean, that right there, you could go back and look at that slide and say the slide wasn't directly into the bag, and he did not stay on the bag. Therefore, that's an illegal slide. Where does it end?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And by the way, there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, that 120 years of baseball, there's 150 years, however long they've been playing this game, and that was, even last night, by rule and review, you come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But in 130 years of baseball, that play last night was about a clean as a takeout attempt as you've ever seen. You think about a guy making that play last year, you're sliding in sideways with two arms out, forcing Forsythe to jump over top of you like a hurdle. And nothing's said about it. Now you clip a toe, and listen, I'm glad the Rays won the ball game, but where does this end? Because like you said, just for fun, you show the Geyer slide, and you could make the case that was a bad slide.
Yeah. Well, you've got to get used to change.
I guess so.
Give
me a week.
Rules change.
I used to like that baseball was the same year after year. You'd always laugh because the NFL would always sit down and they have their big committee and they'd have rule changes every single year. Baseball, you just played. Well, now it's getting to be similar.
Well, the other thing you have to realize is that the rule book is a living document.
Well,
okay, so as long as you realize that, it's all good. Colabello with a ground ball for Forsythe, and he throws him out second to first. But that's a great point. Baseball did it. It was, here are the rules year after year. It's the same, and every new season with other sports sometimes, and the NFL, it's obviously very popular and great pastime, but it is sometimes mind-boggling. Every year, here are the changes. You go, well, wait a minute, is this the same game I watched 2 years ago?
No question.
But well, got to keep pace,
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're just off and running here in 2016 and see, how this rule and the fact that it's reviewable and the fact that now the neighborhood play is reviewable, how that all plays out in a larger sample size.
Martin with a count of 2 strikes. Well, there is that rule that addresses interference, and it's usually interpreted and administered by the umpires on the field. And with the addition of new technology, here we are. Got to implement it.
If you would just enforce the rules that are on the book right now, you don't have to add any more.
Not only is the rule book a living document, but society progresses. 1 out, bases empty.
Better put the brakes on this right now.
Yeah. Let's see Ryan Webb. He's the only guy from Clearwater ever to play for the Rays. And he gets the catcher Martin looking. Call 3rd strike there.
Now the fastball movement from Ryan Webb, and he's got that ability that if he goes away, he can start the pitch on the corner, maybe just off, and get a little bit of tailing action back. And Russell Martin gives up on that pitch and catches.
Yeah, I like
out
that
3rd.
pitch.
A real good pitch.
Carrera. Strike around the knees with a slider. Back into the screen. 0-2. Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the 3rd. The Rays got a run in the 4th. It's 3-1 as we play in the top half of inning 6. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball. The other side of last night, the Rays getting their first win on that play that ended the game ultimately, is John Gibbons. He's becoming one of our favorite managers, and bless his heart, he was searching for the right words and trying to contain himself as much as he could.
Yeah. Yep.
Not an easy spot, for the manager on the losing end of that decision to be. Foul ball. So it's still a 1-2 count.
I can't imagine. You're standing over there thinking that you have a 1-run lead with still runners on the corners and 2 outs in the inning, to then being told, oh, by the way, you just lost the game, and then 8-10 minutes later, microphones just filling up the room and in your face. That's a difficult spot to be in.
Chopped by the mound. Forsythe to first and out the call. Pierce reaching toward right. And Gibbons out of the dugout just to say, hang on a second, we want to take a look maybe. We'll see what the Blue Jays decide on that close play at first base.
Yeah, close on whether Pierce was able to keep his foot on the bag, and it's going to be very close, and I think they want to take a look.
So Mike Everett, the crew chief, will come in. He was down at first base on that call. We'll take another look. Did Pierce stay on the bag? Just looking for that nanosecond of contact.
Yeah, but as the ball in the back of the glove. Ooh, boy, that's close. That is close.
So we have a review of this play. Well, the Rays hang around while this one is reviewed. Blue Jays challenge the call.
I've been awful so far this year, so I think I'm just going to sit this one out.
Probably a good policy anyway. Yeah. Well, and again, to overturn it, you're looking for clear and convincing.
According to who?
And he's out. So it turns out to be a 1-2-3 inning for Webb here in the top half of the 6th. Steve Pearce will lead off the bottom half of the inning when we return. 3-1 Toronto. The hill. Steve Pearce leads it off in the bottom of the 6th inning with Desmond Jennings to follow, and then Steven Souza Jr. Rays really have not pushed Happ much, with the exception of the 4th when they loaded the bases, scored a run, and left him loaded. First pitch strike to Pearce. Two.
That's the one pitch we have not seen a lot of Jay Happ. That fastball up and into the Rays hitters.
Pearce had a base hit in the 4th when the Rays scored their run. With 4 singles, picked up 1 run, the RBI belonging to Tim Beckham. It's a ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. Popped up. It's a foul ball. And played just in front of the Rays dugout there by Russell Martin. He also had Colabello coming down there, but Martin covered a lot of ground from behind the plate to get there.
Right in front of the Rays dugout too. He's running out of room, checking where he's at. All of a sudden that ball's spinning back towards the field, and he's able to corral it.
It'll be Desmond Jennings. He's headed out of play. Desmond 0 for 2. Struck him out on a fastball up, swinging the last time. And he's ahead of Desmond 0-2. Sky to center, straight down the middle for Pilar. It's 2 gone. This week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Steven Souza Jr. 2 for 2. Takes the ball. Pitch away, 2-0.
Being careful with him too, because Steven Souza Jr. has shown very good balance at the plate today. Right center field into left field.
And he takes a big rip there. Ahead in the count. Let it out. 2-1.
That's the time to do it. You know, you've got a pitcher behind 2-0. You get the pitch that you want where you can get extension and try to pop that ball out of here. You go ahead and take a shot. Still 2-1.
High fly ball, straight away center. Pilar back to the track, still gone, and that one is gone. Home run center field, Steven Souza Jr. Now it's a 1-run ball game.
I'll tell you what, didn't it look like Kevin Pilar looked confused on that ball, like it was carrying a lot further than he thought. Just an awkward track back to center field. One of the best center fielders in the game, but being able to go and get him. This ball popped pretty good to center. And Pilar just kind of drifting all the way back to the fence. Right off the top of the fence. Bounce to the right side.
So the Rays, with the long ball, close the gap. It's now 3-2. Souza has a double, a single, and a home run in this game. Beckham, who drove in the first run, fouls this pitch away. Steven Souza Jr. gets a run back with one swing. Well, he let it out 2-0, missed the pitch, and hit it out 2-1. A 1-1 count. There's Beckham sending one into shallow center. Pilar in a hurry for this one, coming in, makes the catch. Rays out in the 6th inning. But they get a run on the home run by Steven Souza Jr. They've hit home runs in 18 consecutive games going back into last year. And they are now down 3-2 in this game. Jr. has drawn the Rays to within a run with his second home run of the year. This one out to center field. Hit one Monday, and now connecting again. Danny Farquhar, the new pitcher for the Rays, and his first pitch taken inside. 1-0 the count on Darwin Barney.
Now the Rays inch closer.
Into right, Souza Jr. is there to make the catch. That's the first out. Blue Jays scored all of their runs in the third inning. It came on the Josh Donaldson home run with Guerrero and Barney aboard. Donaldson hit a 2-2 fastball out. Tim Beckham singled home a run for the Rays in the fourth, scoring Evan Longoria. And then the solo 2-out home run by Steven Souza Jr. to center field in the bottom of the sixth. Kevin Pillar, top of the order, takes the breaking ball in for a strike.
Well, you've got to credit Matt Moore for recovering after the third inning, the scoreless fourth, the scoreless fifth, Ryan Webb in the sixth. Farquhar off to a good start here in the seventh, because that's the key. 3-0 ball game, now 3-1, 3-2. Keep inching closer, but you need the zeros put up by your pitching staff.
Farquhar has the jump on Pillar. Pitch fouled away.
Danny Farquhar will give you a little bit of that crossfire action to try to create some deception. Can cut and sweep the ball away from the righties, in on the lefties.
Cut and a miss. Strikes out Pillar. 2 gone. Be sure and get in on the action with exclusive on-field seating in the Papa John's bullpen box. Host a group of 50 to 85 in the private party area. Create long-lasting memories. To reserve the Papa John's bullpen box, call 888-FAN-RAYS or email group sales at raysbaseball.com. Limited dates remain. Now Josh Donaldson in the batter's box with a 1-0 count. 2-0. A miss in, a miss up. Three and 0. Farquhar pitched an inning Monday in that game. Swinging and ripping it foul beyond the bullpen. 3-1. Check swing, foul ball off the top of the Rays dugout. Counts full now. Shot, that's a foul ball. Down into the bullpen. Tap over Farquhar's head, barehanded by Beckham, and they got him. Donaldson late getting out of the batter's box, and Beckham throws him out at first, and Donaldson's limping a bit. 1-2-3, 7th inning as it turns out. 7th inning stretch time. 3-2 Toronto. It is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Kevin Kiermaier will open the bottom of the 7th inning for the Rays. Rays down 3-2. Jay Happ still out there. A ball, no strikes, the count. 1-1. Changes on the infield. Ryan Goins comes in to play second base. Barney started there, but he'll move over to third. Darwin Barney now at third, replacing Donaldson. 2-1. Donaldson. Take another look at him coming out of the batter's box there. And yeah, that's not a healthy Donaldson.
No, listen, he always plays the game hard, and anytime you see him, it's tough to tell. A little bit of a limp. You didn't see anything that jumped out at you there, but you knew that something was bothering. Now out of the game.
Kiermaier is aboard. He checked. The Rays get the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that will get the Blue Jays manager John Gibbons out of the dugout and marching to the mound. That's going to be it for Jay Happ. 6 innings plus, back right after this. The 7th inning with the Rays up, down by 1 run. Here's what's coming up Friday on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Steve Pearce and the Rays head into Baltimore. The return of Steve Pearce to Baltimore. We'll be hearing from Chris Archer. Pregame show begins at 6:30. It's supposed to be a little cool in Baltimore for the weekend. 89 pitches for Happ, 6 innings plus of 2-run baseball. He is accountable for a man on as he leaves. Allows 7 hits. Gavin Floyd, who was in a battle for one of the starting spots that eventually went to Aaron Sanchez, the veteran right-hander, now working out of the bullpen.
And had a very impressive spring. His first taste of action here in 2016.
Corey Dickerson will pinch hit for Casale now with the right-hander Floyd in this game. Couple Couple of home runs for Dickerson. And he takes a big cut. Strike one. Dickerson turned the fastball around in the 4th inning of last night's game.
Yeah, and what was so impressive about that, outside of the fact that it was a towering blast that went 450 feet, was the adjustment that he made from his first at-bat. That is a great sign. Get beat with the pitch a couple of times, AB number 1, and just destroy it, and AB number 2.
1 ball, 1 strike. Floyd with a long run in a Chicago White Sox uniform. Handful of games with Cleveland last year, and in between a stop in Atlanta. It's a 1-2 count. Leadoff walk drawn by Kevin Kiermaier. So the Rays have great speed aboard. Dickerson bats for Casale. Floyd's last full season was in 2012. He had Tommy John surgery in 2013. Still 1-2 the count to Dickerson with that foul ball. Dickerson is out reaching on that pitch, sinking.
Working a little bit on both sides of the plate, and with 2 strikes there, he gets Dickerson to expand his zone. That fastball really out of the hand was a ball down and away, but he was able to entice Dickerson to swing, and he picks up out number 1.
Today's cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. See the home run surge there by Logan Forsythe. 18 home runs in his last 156 games. And there's a line drive going to be caught by Tulowitzki, and no chance at first, with Kiermaier quickly diving back in. Ball hit hard, but unfortunately for the Rays, right at Tulowitzki.
Well, Logan Forsythe, his approach last year was so consistent. He has such quick hands. That's what allows him to hit those home runs you just pointed out, and that's also how that ball got to Tulowitzki so quickly. That ball was smoked. And Troy Tulowitzki at 6'3" out there at shortstop, able to flag it down for the second out.
Logan Morrison will pinch hit for Brandon Guyer. Guyer was on twice today, hit by a pitch and then singled. Officially 1 for 2, and now it's Logan Morrison. There goes Kiermaier, pitches down, and the throw's not going to be in time. He ran on a breaking ball, and Kiermaier has his first stolen base of the year.
Yeah, good combination there. Good jump, runs on a breaking ball. A tough handle for Russell Martin there behind the plate, who's a really good catch and throw guy. Leaning, and off and running easily.
So now that potential tying run is in scoring position at second base, with Logan Morrison facing Gavin Floyd. Morrison fouls it. 1-1. Logan looking for his first hit in a Rays uniform. Right now 0 for 9.
This would be a perfect time.
It would be the perfect spot. You're absolutely right. Number third base side foul. 1-2. The Rays got down 3-0. Scored a run in the 4th. Came up with a run in the 6th inning. That came on the Souza Jr. home run. A man at second with 2 outs in the 7th. A 1-2 to Morrison. Into the dirt. 2-2. Count is full. 2-2 curveball takes it to 3-2. Out on strikes. So a couple strikeouts there by Gavin Floyd in relief of Happ. The Rays leave a man. On to the 8th, 3-2. It's a one-run ball game. 35-0 for Toronto, 2-7-0 for the Rays. Donaldson taking care of all the scoring for the Blue Jays with a 3-run home run back in the 3rd. Steven Souza Jr. connecting for the Rays in the 6th. Changes for the Rays moving into the 8th. Rasmo Ramirez takes over on the mound, coming off Very strong season last year. Corey Dickerson stays on to play left. Hank Congers, the catcher. Jose Bautista swings and misses at the first pitch, and the 8th inning is underway.
Kevin Cash said that Erasmo Ramirez would be used in big spots coming out of that bullpen. Big spot here. Rays continue to try to hang close here in the late innings.
0-2.
Pretty sharp coming in out of that bullpen too. And the best thing a guy can do, you know, to have success is to be able to roll with the punches, and that's what Erasmo Ramirez has done.
And he strikes out Bautista. 3-pitch strikeout. Let's check in with Todd Callis.
Hey, Dwayne, a lot of people are wondering about what you guys started talking about, Erasmo Ramirez's role on our website Wednesday. A few people have asked, is he going to stay in the bullpen through the month of April, or is he possibly going to be a guy who gets one of those spot starts when a 5th starter is needed?
I think wait and see. You know, the talk coming out of spring training was he was going to be in the bullpen, kind of hold that down until Brad Boxberger made it back. But I think that once you get to when the Rays need a 5th starter, you know, we'll be as interested to see what direction they go as anybody. But the one thing that you do know is Erasmo Ramirez will do whatever this club asks him to do, and do it with a smile on his face. And I'll tell you, that's a testament to his character, because he had such a great year last year as a starter. I mean, there were a good portion of the season you could make the case he was your number 2 in his performance, and yet he handled going to the bullpen with class, with dignity, high character guy, and said, listen, I'll do whatever I can do to help this team win. You let me know when you want me to pitch, I'll go pitch.
And so here he is in the 8th inning of this game in relief. 2-1 with Edwin Encarnacion, who rolls it foul. And it's now 2-2. And he comes right in here, facing Bautista, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki next. Full count. Into center. Kiermaier's right there for it. 2 outs.
Number 2, shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulowitzki. The ball to center field, hit it to the track. Kiermaier caught it in the 3rd, grounded to short in the 5th inning after drawing a base on balls his first time up there. Fouls this one away. Erasmo Ramirez is 25 years old. Fours in a strike. 2.
He pitches with such confidence now. Very simple in his delivery, very little wasted movement. He can get that fastball up. We've seen it already today at 94 miles an hour. Sweep the breaking ball, an excellent changeup. What an asset.
And a cut and a miss. Comes on, he gets Tulowitzki with a fastball. 1, 2, 3, he strikes out 2. Evan Longoria will open the bottom of the 8th. Baseball on Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Kubota. For more information, go to Florida, KubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Evan Longoria to lead off the bottom of the 8th inning with Gavin Floyd, the veteran right-hander, still out there. The pitch is a strike. Steve Pearce will be next, and then Desmond Jennings. Two with a foul ball. Floyd came on with a runner aboard in the 7th inning, got a couple strikeouts in retiring Dickerson, Forsythe, and Conger. Base hit to the right of Tulowitzki, and the Rays put the leadoff hitter on base in the bottom of the 8th. Second hit of the day for Evan. For the second straight inning, the Rays had the leadoff man aboard.
Try to cut it. Evan able to go out and get it. Hit it with enough authority to get it out past Troy Tulowitzki. And the Rays down by a run. Leadoff man aboard. A great start here in the 8th.
Here's Steve Pearce. Pearce singled in the 4th. Rays got their first run in the 4th inning. Longoria opened that one with a base hit. Took 4 singles to get a run home. The Rays down by 1 run right now in the 8th. A ball and a strike. Leon, the right-hander, Morales, the lefty. They were up last inning. One ball, 2 strikes.
Pull the string a little bit there on the breaking ball. Get Steve Pearce to commit a little bit early. Still a strike to play with.
Out on strikes. A little movement away.
Yeah, you know, we've seen that cutter anywhere from 83 to 88. Kind of yank this one out there. That's like that hybrid pitch again, like a cutter slider coming after the breaking ball, which was a much slower pitch, and you see it just catches Steve Pearce flat-footed. He will throw the kitchen sink at you. Cut it, sink it, curve it, everything he could possibly do to get you out.
There's a fastball to start Desmond Jennings. Well located on that outside edge, and he got the call out there.
Well, listen, he's a savvy veteran. Been a starter the majority of his career. Now moving into the bullpen in a tough spot here. You know, late in the ball game, 1-run game.
Jennings lays off. It's 1-1. Rays will have tomorrow off. They'll be heading into Baltimore. Chris Archer's going to open that series Friday night. 2 night games and a day game in Baltimore. Desmond takes it in. 2-1. Rays got both their runs off Jay Happ. The Jays got all 3 of their runs off Matt Moore. There goes the runner, and the pitch hit into right field. Nicely done. Longoria is going to go to third as Jennings reaches out, serves a single through the right side. First and third for the Rays.
Yeah, you could not have scripted that any better. Evan Longoria, not often is he off and running. He heads out there. This pitch is away, and Desmond Jennings away. I mean, way off the plate, but good coverage right there, and just pokes it out into right field. There you go.
So the Rays have something brewing in the 8th inning. Nice to see that. Pitching change coming for Toronto. Prince Fielder and the Rangers take on Mike Trout and the Angels, all on America's home for baseball all season long. FS1, or watch all the action live on Fox Sports Go. Arnold Leone will be the new pitcher. Third of the day for Toronto.
19 games last year, 26 2/3 innings, 19 strikeouts. And he's got a tough assignment here. Souza Jr., runners on the corners, 1 out.
Souza with a double, a single, and a home run in this game. Pitch a little close. Home run came in the 6th inning. Hit it out to center.
Boy, he's been so balanced at the plate today. First hit into right center, second hit left field, third hit, the big one, dead center. Seeing the ball well, staying balanced, great leverage.
Two balls, no strikes. Now 3-0. On deck, Beckham. Strike, 3-1. Back up. Souza Jr. sends this one high and deep, and about that for Steven Souza Jr.? A 3-run blast, and the Rays lead 5-3.
No drama on this one. I'll tell you, we've seen it all afternoon, how well he is seeing the ball, how balanced he's been at the plate, the leverage that he's able to create. And boy, did he do it right there. Last home run off the top of the fence. This one, no doubt, are out to Duckies.
And the Rays lead by 2. Here's Tim Beckham. The pitch is low. Souza Jr. got ahead in the count and lowered the boom to center field.
Only a 3-1 with a little cut action to it. And boy, did he get down and sweep that pitch right out of here.
Longo applauding the shot and where it landed. Bautista in right field will take care of this fly ball by Tim Beckham.
He's like, listen, that shot gives us the lead, gives a little bit of free advertising. This is a wonderful thing.
It's a win-win. So the Rays with a 3-run 8th. Kevin Kiermaier's due up. And the Blue Jays are going to make another pitching change. Leone departs. Take a look at the home run swing, the second home run of the day for Steven Souza Jr. Jr. 4 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 runs batted in, and what is now a 5-3 Rays lead. Franklin Morales on to face Kevin Kiermaier. They're estimating that blast at 438 feet off the bat of Souza Jr. and into Duckies. One to count. Pretty good shot out there.
I'll tell you, when he catches one clean, that ball, it just jumps. You think about the home run the other night to right field off R.A. Dickey off a changeup. Or excuse me, off a knuckleball, but where you've got to create all of the power yourself. He's looked good today. I mean, just think about how he spread the ball around the field. Right center to left, a couple of home runs to center. One-man wrecking crew this afternoon.
Kiermaier just a little piece to stay alive on the foul ball back. to center field. Pilar in to make the catch to retire the side, but the Rays put up a 3-spot in the 8th on one swing of the bat from Steven Souza Jr. And at the end of 8, the Rays lead 5-3. Tampa Bay moving into the 9th inning with Erasmo Ramirez out there facing Chris Colabello. One swing of the bat from Steven Souza Jr. has given the Rays the lead. And after a 1-2-3-8, the first pitch here in the 9th from Ramirez is a strike. A strikeout and 2 groundouts by Colabello today. Stays right out there, picks up strike 2.
I mean, you talk about dotting the first 2 pitches. Erasmo Ramirez, you knew he was going to get some meaningful innings coming out of the bullpen. Pretty big one right here.
Just a little wide, took it off the plate.
You can play that game. You know, when you're 0-2, you got a good feeling about a pitch and you want to see if a guy will expand the zone and chase. Go ahead and take a shot. You're still in the driver's seat.
And now it's 2-2.
And now you hope that your 2 misses have set up this pitch because you want something to happen here.
So Cedeno up in the Rays bullpen. Colabello fouls it away. Well, this day for Steven Souza Jr., 4 hits. It ties a career high, and it's his first multi-homer game. Homer in the 6th and a homer in the 8th. Colabello fouling it away again.
Erasmo staying with the fastball, trying to yank that pitch right to the outside corner. Get Colabello to have to reach. Soft fly into right field or a strikeout.
2 again. And he just missed outside. Boy, that was a very near miss. 3-2.
You can see what the cluster is telling you is make Colabello beat you to the big part of the field the other way.
And a base hit off the fastball. Dickerson returns it to the infield, and Colabello has a base hit to open the ninth.
Well, he had certainly seen enough fastballs in that at bat. That one caught a little bit too much plate. He'd worked it back to full, and he just stays up the middle on a ball down the middle.
Here's Russell Martin. It's foul right back. Slider, strike 1. Ground ball, second. Forsythe, Beckham 1, first base 2. After the base hit, the double play ground ball off the bat of Martin, started by Forsythe.
And it starts with defensive positioning, and Logan Forsythe shading up the middle, and this ball hit right at him. Easy flip to Beckham coming across. That foot bangs off the back of the bag, and he completes the throw over to Pierce. A twofer.
It's a 2 gone now in the 9th inning with the bases empty. Ezekiel Carrera. Fly ball into right. Souza's there. Why not? He makes the catch to end this game. And Steven Souza Jr., who has an outstanding day, catches the final out. The Rays win this one 5-3 and come away from the opening 4-game series with the American League East defending champion Toronto Blue Jays with a split, winning last night 3-2 and a comeback win today with 3 runs in the 8th inning to make it a 5-3 victory.